Yeah, Norwegian.
Or just do the Viking weird accent in the show Vikings.
Exactly.
Or Floki.
So I looked up some Norwegian Viking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how everybody has weird delicacies that they eat? Like each culture has weird delicacies.
Yeah.
In Norway and in Iceland, one of the delicacies is they take a shark. So they catch a shark and then they take the guts out and they bury it on the beach and let it rot for 6 months. And then they dig it up and eat it.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I respect that. They're not just like those shark finners. Like they
eat the whole thing.
Like, and see, I'd do it. Would you do it?
I would try it.
I'd let you do it first. I'd let the 14th warrior eat it.
Right, because no one's going to see me eat it. If I die...
You always keep a 14th warrior.
To eat the fermented shark carcass.
Yeah, just in case.
But I'm just saying, like, if you were to say, hey, we're making a fictional movie about warriors, what's the, like, most warrior-like food? It's like, well, they take a monster from the sea and let it rot, and then they eat it. Like, that's the thing that's real. And it's called Hakaro.
Do they still do it?
No, you can go there now and buy some.
Do they sell it at IKEA? Even though it's Swedish?
I don't think so. I don't think the Swedes can handle fermented shark meat.
I did write a fake movie called Sharks in Sweden starring Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, why is that a fake movie? Why can't that just be a movie that's not been made yet?
And I also wrote a fake story about a movie called Squid Lake, about some squids that get into the Great Lakes and they just adapt and then they terrorize the Great Lakes.
Did you see that? This is a way bunny trail, but did you see that video that came up last week of the guy kayaking in Australia?
No. What happened?
And then there's these seals around there and they don't like them, so they're like splashing them and stuff. And this seal swims into the ocean and then jumps out and throws an octopus at a guy's face.
Oh, I did see that.
And I'm just like, how crazy is that in a world we live in where a seal doesn't like you so much he throws an octopus at your face?
I mean, couldn't the seal just dive at him?
I think a seal is more threatening than an octopus, but it's just so insulting.
Yeah, and especially if the octopus latches onto you.
Yeah, I think it stuck to his boat for a minute or two.
Very confused octopus.
Yeah, no. But anyways, Vikings are crazy, and they eat sharks.
That they buried in the beach?
They buried in the beach.
Now, I want to tell you something really cool. I found a quote from Peter Menzies Jr. You probably read this. He was a director of photography on this film. And he wrote, "This is an epic film, and we wanted to get that scope on a wider screen, so we shot it with an anamorphic ratio," which I think really helps with the main attack in the middle portion of the film. Says Menzies, referring to the wider lens format used to photograph a horizontally extended image. So, Spielberg shrunk it down to 1.85 to make the T-Rex look bigger. They use widescreen to make everything just look grander, I guess. Yeah. And so we did mount the camera onto modern vehicles and Steadicams, and we use planes as well for some photography. Yet the audience still needs to be involved in the action and to move with the story. So we did a great deal of handheld work, which gave it that very involving third-person sort of feel. And you can get that in that movie. And I think one of the best, I'm telling you, I've already mentioned it, but one of my favorite shots of the last, 25 years is watching the Wendells.
Yep.
Yeah, watching them charge in a row on their horses into that kind of fort. I mean, that's
like much better than the charge of Braveheart.
Yeah, for sure. But if you think about it, they put 40 people on horses at night with fire, and they just shot them rampaging through. That's a practical, expensive,
and
awesome
in costumes that definitely hindered their vision.
Yeah, I mean, this shooting that shot, it looks awesome, but that was tons of mud, huge undertaking to get them all reset. But
that's the thing. Doing it once isn't the magic trick. The magic trick is doing it 5 times and editing it together.
Yeah, and also, yeah, you're right. That's a lot. So, and then I guess we'll talk to a shot in a little bit. So they get to the place. They find out that this king there is under attack. His house is terribly undefended. There's no one there. Let's see what happens.
And then that's when they say it's the fireworm, right?
Yeah, the fireworm. And then they're like, yeah, there's no dragon. And I guess the creatures kind of find out that they're there. You think that they're just bear creatures, something like that. And oh no. Sorry guys. So they go out looking at this house. They see that these people have been eaten, correct? All the 13th warriors. But then what I love the most is when they're leaving, one of the scouts is like, look to the right. look to the left, look behind. No, he doesn't say look, but behind us, by the ridgeline, by the rocks. He knows every single thing that's looking at him right then and there. And then
Right.
Banderas goes to look at him, and he's like, "Don't look at him. Come on, man. Like, what are you, a rookie?" But I just love that scene because it shows that they're everywhere, but it also shows that the guy knows, and he's known for some time, and that just makes them the baddest dudes. And I love that moment.
So when you were explaining that scene to me, which I've seen a number of times, and I agree with you, it's a moment. So imagine these guys, these warriors who survived this movie, their next adventure is a predator comes down because of their superior fighting skills. He wants them as his trophy.
They'd kill the Predator. The Predator's a wimp.
I know, but McTiernan directing that movie?
Oh my gosh. Would the Predator use his stupid heat-seeking cannon on him?
I think he would try, but these guys would somehow know, and they cover themselves in mud because they're all covered in mud anyways.
Don't you think that's cheating, though? So you can become invisible, and you have a laser cannon on your shoulder.
Yeah, no, predators are pretty cheap fighters.
You know what's funny? That's what really kept me from really loving Predator. Because I was like, this guy's cheating. I think I was like 12. Right? And I was like, this guy's dumb. And I felt bad for all the guys getting killed. I'm like, why don't you, like, I was hoping that we could see the scene where he fights Billy on the tree. But he probably cheated there too.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, they have overhyped the Predator's skills because he just has lots of toys. Like, remember in AVP? I can't believe we're talking about that movie. But where they didn't have their guns and they were getting their butts whooped.
Yeah, they were getting handled.
Right?
Wimps. So
by baby aliens.
So what I love here is they know they're watching, and so that means that the creatures, the Wendells are gonna come attack and see what they're all about. So they go to the king's house, and the 13 warriors sleep in a circle, sleep in quotation marks, but they're fake sleeping. And I love that scene. I'm like, why are they sleeping? Then when I saw it in 99 that they were pretend snoring, I was like, this is amazing. But I love how they film the first battle with a lot of very silhouette shots. They're kind of in the shadows. They
don't give away the reveal yet.
Yeah, and it's primal. There's a scene where one of the bear creatures, or whatever you think they are, the Wendells, are coming at Banderas, and the way that they fight, like the way that they swing the swords, it looked real to me. So I just love, and then there's the silhouettes. I love the shadows that they use. You still kept them a mystery, and that was just a very smart way to not only establish that the Vikings are tough dudes, but then these things are not to be messed with, and they take heads and they take other bodies. And I also like that at the end of the battle, the Vikings were huffing and puffing. They were tired.
They were brought to their limit. This scene makes me feel the same way that playing paintball when you're like getting fired at and you don't know where the bullets are coming from. It's that same visceral feeling.
Yeah, like just man, I've played paintball a couple times. And I just get shellacked.
No, it's as a youth pastor, I play paintball way more than any person should who's not a professional paintball player, and it's unnerving.
But this opening battle scene, they have this shot of they're just following a decapitated head out a door. Like, it's a very quick, smart battle scene to establish that. And so I don't know. I thought that was a very smart decision to make before the really big battle.
I wonder if the perfect version of this movie is a combination, knowing ahead of time that Michael Crichton is going to direct all the like dramatic and conversational scenes, and McTiernan will direct just the action scenes.
See, I just want to just let McTiernan do it. Let McTiernan do it, because when has that ever worked well when you have these two people kind of doing that? I mean, I know there are co-directors like the Coen brothers and stuff. But
the Russos, but that's a team going in, not a team that's forced to do it.
Yeah, I just think that would have been too different. I mean, McTiernan had the chops to make this movie. I just think
absolutely.
I just think this is at the apex of Crichton's power. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Crichton's not a filmmaker, and I think he knows what audiences want. Well, no, he directed Westworld, didn't he? Yeah,
when you say at the height of his power, this is after Congo, right?
Yeah, but Congo was a big hit. That made money.
Oh. How did that make money and this one didn't? How?
I don't know. Yeah, that was an event. So I lived in a small town, and when we first got our big theater, like, we didn't have a nice theater. We just had like the little ones, and when our first big theater got built up, on the opening day, I went and watched Congo.
Wow.
And I was like, this is not good. But the theater was packed.
I watched that a couple months ago, and I had forgot Bruce Campbell was in it.
Yeah, that was a big deal because I remembered that. I'm like, Bruce Campbell's in it? I got to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his big break. But
that was his biggest role.
So I mean, I guess he had Jurassic Park, he had Congo. I think he had some power there. I just don't know why. It just seemed like there was a lot of. It seems like almost a Rogue One situation, but Rogue One was successful. Where Rogue One, apparently the director's cut's very warlike and very downer, and then they came back and refilmed it with Tony Gilroy came to direct the scenes, and they added all the hope into it.
Right.
I want it like a nihilistic 13th Warrior. Because after this initial attack, they build the fort, and that's all cool. Everything looks beautiful. But this is the middle part between the first attack and then the big battle. And I guess 2/3 of the way in is where it really slows down. Because you add this random relationship. Banderas is talking to some blonde Viking lady. And then you gotta have that, though. What?
You gotta have a lady.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But the problem is, if her character was actually written well. I just feel like they threw her in. I feel like that was
that was definitely a studio decision.
Yeah, and so for me, they're just like, we need somebody else in here, and I don't think that did this. Yes, she did fine as an actress. She did exactly what she needed to do,
as good as any actress could have done.
Yeah, but it was an afterthought of a character, and it came after this high of this really cool battle and this journey and all this, and then you have the scene where there's this prince and he's planning something, so then this guy goes and throws mud on some dude's back and then he cuts his head off. And it establishes him as a tough guy, but it also kind of makes them look jerky because they just decapitated a really good fighter.
But here's the question. Was he a good fighter if he got decapitated?
I mean, would you want to have him on your side during a battle?
Yeah, I would. But that's also the point in time where Eben grinds his sword down.
Oh, yeah, I love that scene. You give him a sword and he makes a knife.
Yeah, I think that's like the quintessentially agreed upon. Oh, that was the one good scene in that movie.
Yeah, and then he comes and he just smashes the he starts making the stakes really good, and they still make fun of him.
Yeah, he starts doing like ninja moves and stuff.
I wonder if Knight's Tale kind of copied this a little bit because they make fun of the horse, and the horse jumps over a guy, and then everyone laughs and they're like, "This horse is great." And then they make fun of his sword. Then he does a great job with the sword. Remember Knight's Tale where all the knights are laughing at him with the little armor? Then he just jumps right on the horse.
I firmly believe that you and I could do a commentary track to A Knight's Tale and reveal that there is not one single original idea in that movie.
But I love that movie.
Oh no, together it's a great combination. But I feel like it's this spoof movie that no one knows is a spoof movie.
I mean, there's a lot of weird humor in it.
Yeah, but I think every joke and every bit is taken from something else.
And I don't like the extras in that movie at all.
Oh, there's a lot about that movie that you love the movie on a visceral level, but you know it's wrong.
Medieval peasants. I hate medieval extra peasants.
As fun as the soundtrack is,
oh yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
They got Bowie.
You want to talk about costumes that are not period correct? Everything that princess wears. How is that lady the prince? Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
But that's why I like it. It's like a weird modern take, even though it happens in the past. It's a hybrid movie.
No, and someone explained to me one time, it's like, that's why it's not a knight's story, it's a knight's tale.
Oh.
Right?
Man, that's like, I would give him a high five for saying that.
It was a good moment.
What, was that person really pleased with themselves? Did they do a victory lap?
Sean did not do a victory lap, but I think he was pleased. He went home and he's just had a smile on his face when he went to bed that night.
All right, so let's get into the big battle. So they fortify the entire place. Antonio Banderas goes out to give some guy food at the watchtower, but the guy's not there, and he sees the guy in a tree, and Banderas is like, hey, I look for you in the tower, and the guy's like, yeah, that's why I'm not there. That's another cool line. He's my favorite of all of them, except for Bolvife, the dude who can just see everything.
But again, you see Banderas is doing the right thing, these honorable things, but he sees that these less educated men are definitely smarter than he is.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, I love that line. You weren't in the watch show. Yeah, I know, because that's where everyone's looking for me at. Like, what a cool moment.
Well, I think they used that same MacGuffin in every third episode of Walking Dead.